Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and my friends, this is your starter guide for King in Tekken 8. It's gonna be a longer video. There'll be a lot of timestamps for you to skip to, whatever makes sense for you. And hey, let's start with pro number one. Yo, he's the guy who grabs people really good. He's the wrestler, right? He's the grappler. If anything's gonna sell you, that's probably gonna be one of the things that's gonna sell you out of the gate. We got all sorts of grabs. We got famous grabs here. Maybe a move or hold you've seen before in the professional wrestling world every now and then. To some of the more absurd flair, as he is a luchador. And yes, you're just going to grab. That's the King way. And the King way, for those who are not initiated in the King way, it can get rough sometimes. Let's put it that way, right? If you're just looking to chuck fools, rest assured, King is absolutely that character with his wide variety of grabs. And hey, don't get it twisted. He's got a lot of good other moves too. Like, it's not just all the grabs, and we're going to cover a lot of the good move set. Now, of course, everyone has weaknesses. King, if I got to label one particular weakness, his grab game is obviously top-notch. His striking game, his basic buttons are very proficient. He's a little weaker on lows. Like, he's got some stuff, sure, but there's only one real standout. And he's slow as sin. Like, his basic backdash, even if you want to do some fancy backdash canceling, like, everyone is much more mobile than King. King's one of the slowest characters in the game. But you know what? He's the wrestler, right? The wrestler is not here to be fast. He's here to crush people. And crush people he will, even if he's got to do it with a broken freaking neck. Nothing will stop King, and he will always fight for the fans. So that said, let's get into it. And hey, I know, okay, I know. Move list, scary. Especially King. King's got one of the biggest move lists in fighting game history, right? So where do we start? Don't worry, I got your back. And we're going to start with specifically 10 moves you need to know. When you get the hang of the game, sure, learn them all. But for now, let's give you 10 of the most important moves to help start your King foundation. So the first move to know is the giant swing. It's the throw. Simple as that. Like, it's as synonymous to King as, like, say, the spinning Piledriver is for Zangief. It does a lot of damage, as you can see. Also, as a nice little bonus, on top of doing so much damage, you can do up to 70 with perfect timing. If you do it as fast as possible, you get just a little damage bonus. It's the fastest throw in the game. Normally, a basic throw is going to be like 12 plus frames, right? Some specialty throws are going to be 11 frames, and the giant swing is 10 frames startup. And yeah, so that says everything right there. Now, to note, the damage, even though it's Titanic, it's in two parts. And if the enemy does a ground roll when they hit the ground, they'll still take the first part of the damage, right? So they're still taking 45 to 50 damage, depending if you get the perfect time or not, but they can avoid the last bit. But it still does a lot of damage, all things considered. Also, considering it throws the enemy behind you, you better believe, if there happens to be a wall in the way, they're just eating crap. There's no tech possible. They're just going to take all the damage. That means they're against the wall now too, right? So you deal a lot of damage and you completely flip the script on them. So just incredibly powerful move. It's the go-to grab. It's the grab. End of story. Now, in a very direct sequel to that is what we call the Shining Wizard. So what makes this so strong is Shining Wizard and Giant Swing share the exact same animation. So that's Giant Swing, and this is Shining Wizard. And they share the exact same animation, but they're completely different breaks. Giant Swing is a 1 break to get out of the throw, and Shining Wizard is a 1+2 break to get out of the throw. And since visually they're exactly the same, there's no possible way for the enemy to know which one is which. They simply have to guess, and that's the core of his offense, the core of his throw game. Now, Shining Wizard looks cool, obviously doesn't do quite as much damage, also has a perfect timing mechanic. So if you see those blue sparks, that means you entered the run fast enough, and you'll get an extra 5 damage. So for Shining Wizard and Giant Swing, don't stress it, honestly. It's a nice bonus, but it's not the end of the world. As long as you get the throw, that's what matters in the end. So once again, Shining Wizard, the grab, is there to complement Giant Swing. They both have the exact same animation. You can't tell which is which. The enemy just has to guess. End of story. That's what makes King's grab game so strong. Now, just to round out the game here, we have the Tombstone Piledriver. So the Tombstone Piledriver is a 2 break. So Giant Swing's a 1 break, Shining Wizard is a 1+2 break, and the Tombstone is a 2 break. So there's all 3 breaks. We have that covered, right? Now, animation-wise, if the enemy is particularly on the ball, they can tell it's just a right grab, right? So 2 break. But that said, you still get to use all breaks, and even if people can tell, and those people are kind of rare, you still can't tech them all. And also, the Tombstone Piledriver just does a lot of effing damage. It does 53 damage and leaves the enemy facing away from you on their wake up. So that's very advantageous for you. Also, fun little bonus. It also, for the few stages it has the ground break effect. Not many grabs have this. So if you're just looking to get in some kingly damage, let's put it that way, right? It's a pretty good way to do it. Next up is up, forward, and 4. This is the party starter. This is your standard launcher. So 15 frames, which is generally considered the standard for launchers. And this is also what we would call a hop kick, in that since he's in the air as a hop kick, that means he's not on the ground, which means he can avoid lows. So in situations where, say, the enemy has advantage frames over you, right? And you want to steal that turn and you think they're going for a low. Hop kick says, by all means, steal that turn, because I'm not getting hit by no low unless the disadvantage frames are really incredible. So this is a really good tool besides it just being a launcher. And naturally enough, as a launcher, it's kind of the party starter, and this is where we're going to get a lot of combo ability from. And don't worry, we're going to cover that in the combo section. So yeah, just kind of generic. Lots of people have their launchers. King's is good. It's exactly what you need to be. And hey, especially as a mid, you got so many great throws. People want to avoid those throws. And how do you avoid throws? You duck. And if you duck, boom, mid, you get launched. What's not to love? Now, next up is forward, forward, neutral 2, as in forward, forward, don't hold forward or you get a completely different move. So forward, forward, let go, then hit 2. King is a character, admittedly, like one of his core weaknesses is he doesn't have a lot of good lows. Like down 3 is all right. Down back 3 is all right. And it's nice, at least if it hits as a counter hit, it will kind of pop the enemy down, right? But he doesn't have many good lows. And this is basically King's best low. Why? One, it allows him to hit low from a good distance away. King has a lot of very good long distance moves like forward 2, forward 1+2. He's got good long range moves, but not so much in the way of lows. And this is what helps him out. So good long distance low. Okay, already. But the beauty of this is it has a built-in counter hit combo. If it hits as a counter hit, we're going to rip the enemy's head off with a short arm clothesline. And as you can see, that damage is nothing short of Titanic. That's 55 damage for just a stray counter hit. There's no combo. You don't got to do anything special. You don't got to hit any extra buttons. If it hits like a counter hit, and it's easier to hit as a counter hit too, especially because he goes low while doing it, meaning highs will go over his head. So while they're whiffing that button and you're hitting as a counter hit, you just absolutely devastate them. So very powerful move. Good poke. Once again, not many lows. People especially aren't expecting lows from further away. Most people cannot hit from a low from far away. King, one of the few characters that can, so that's very handy. So basically, you poke, you harass, and every now and then, you get a counter hit, and you won the lottery. So it's a very good move. Next up is forward 3. Visually, I know it's not very impressive, but why is this good? Forward 3, it's just a good, honest move. So it's 15 frame mid. You need those mids, because after, you know, you're going crazy on all the grabs, right? People are going to want to duck. And mid say, please stop ducking. But this mid specifically has a really good thing about it. One, it is safe on block. It's negative, sure. But, you know, it's safe on block. You're not getting punished if they do block it. And it has a throw built into it. So if you hit 1+2, as it connects, you go right into a DDT. And you get almost 40 damage. So if you check them in a situation where they might be crouching, and you're just going for that hit, once again, you can't block mids while crouching, then you just get a good damage spike. And the beauty here, once again, just hit 1+2 as the move connects, right? If they block, there is no penalty. None whatsoever. You just get blocked, that's it. But if you get hit, it's maximum reward. So completely safe on block and big time reward. So it's just a good quick check with basically almost nothing but upside. Very handy move. Next is back 3. So back 3 is your power crush move. Notice that little kind of gray flash, right? So it's armored against highs and mids, and everyone needs armor every now and then. Your back's going to be the wall sometimes, so it's just a good armored move. Also, as far as armored moves go, It is -10 on block, which means you can get a jab punish on you, right? But most Power Crush moves are more punishable than that. There's a couple that are safe. They're pretty rare. So a minimum of a punish is not too bad, considering the reward, because this is also one of the most damaging Power Crushes in the game. If it connects, it's just a boot. But just like that forward 3 we talked about earlier, if you hit 1+2 as the move connects, you drop the leg, brother. That's right. You may have the biggest arms in the world, but also the biggest legs in the world, and you drop the leg, the same leg that beat Andre the Giant, you can pull this off too and get over 40 damage. This is much in excess of what the average Power Crush gets. So barely punishable, fast enough for what it is. It is a high, so it's duckable. But the damage reward, if you happen to get it, if you armor through the move, you boot him on the other side, is a gigantic reward, making it, in my opinion, simply just one of the better Power Crushes in the game. Now this next one's going to be a little boring, but we need the workhorse moves. So down forward 2, down forward 2-1. So down forward 2 is a 13 frame mid. In and of itself, it's just a quick mid check. So we also got forward 3, but if you just need speed, this is 2 frames faster, so it's good that way. Just good quick mid. If it hits, great, go from there. And down forward 2-1 is mid high. Now it's not a natural string, as you can see here. It's barely negative, which is helpful, but the high is duckable. But this is a natural string on counter hit. And if it hits this counter hit, it splats out the enemy, and yes, there is combo ability. As you can see there, we can juggle the enemy. And we're going to cover it more in the combo section, because there is some tricks sometimes with it. It's not as easy as the base combo, I'll put it that way, right? But there's another lovely thing in that the second strike of the move is heavily delayable. You do not have to commit to the press right away. You can just kind of hold it and see if the enemy wants to press back. By itself, it is -6, so not punishable, but you know, you lost your turn. But if they want to start pressing buttons immediately, like say Azucena here, she just can't wait to take her turn back, right? She's got to hit buttons right away. So if we go for it and do a slight delay, boom, big time counter hit, and then we can get a full combo from there, right? So the threat of the delay is fantastic, and also the threat of the delay high, also fantastic, because they might just go for a crouch, try to duck the high, and get a punish after the fact, right? And at which point, you call them out, and you bury them something fierce. Because King's got a lot of crouch grabs, and in Tekken 8, crouch grabs are fully untechable all the way. Or you could be a little bit more normal, just launch them, but that's not as fun. But yeah, simply down forward 2, down forward 2-1, just a workhorse of a move, both as a poke and as counter hit bait. Next up, we have back 1-2. So back 1-2, what makes this good, back 1 specifically, has good range, very good range for what it is. As you can see, that's like a lot of range, right? And it's a 12 frame move, so it's pretty fast, especially considering the range. And while unfortunately, it's -13, so you'll be eating a little bit of a punish on block. Not too much. Don't worry about it. Don't stress it. It happens, right? But the thing is, the reward on counter hit is very big, as is a full-on launcher on counter hit. Now, it will use up your tornado screw state, so you're not going to get a full gigantic combo, but even if you keep it to the most minimum, most basic version of a combo, I think you'll be happy with the results, right? The damage works out, and it only gets better the more you optimize it. So good ranged option and gigantic reward on counter hit. And the last of our 10 moves you should know about is forward 1+4. So this is forcing a situation move. If it hits, it's not a big reward. And if it's blocked, it's not a big reward. The big thing is on hit or on block, no matter what, it's advantage. It is your turn next, your advantage frames. You have more advantage frames if you hit versus if you block, but either way, +3 on block, +7 on hit. So no fancy combo, no nothing. It's a little slower, 17 frames, but you do this and you're just saying, it is now my turn definitively, and this is one of the best ways to enforce the throw mix-up game. King has fast throws. Even if you're only +3, if they hit any button and you go for any of your core throws that we talked about earlier, you're always going to win unless they duck. And if you hit as a counter hit too, because you know you're at those advantage frames, all the better yet, because in Tekken 8, if a throw hits as a counter hit, it is almost unbreakable, right? So this is the, okay, no fancy tricks. We're enforcing like Street Fighter 2 here. This is the tick grab setup, basically, if you know your 2D terms. Okay, I got you here. Now guess, strike, throw, go from there, basically. It's a good way to enforce your grab game. Doesn't lead to much by itself, but it can lead to the game-winning scenario. So now let's talk heat mode and King. So King's biggest thing in heat mode is it gives the much improved version of the Jaguar Sprint. The move by itself, outside of heat, is nebulously useful, but inside heat mode, it gets much, much, much better. Because while he's in heat mode, the Jaguar Sprint now has Power Crush armor. So he can kind of just tank through everything coming his way. But you can turn all those armored moves into throws and all sorts of other fun properties. So normally run 1 is a mid, and you have the mids because people are going to try to duck the throw, right? Because the throw is armored. And there's basically no way to stop the throw other than duck it. Because even if you sidestep, the run grab will get you, right? So, gotta duck, so therefore go for the mid, right? And now, if they duck, even with like an absolute minimum of effort, you can get some pretty big damage, right? Let alone more complex combos. And we also have quite a few other options. If you do run 3, Jaguar Stance 3, it is a full tracking mid as well. So if they try to sidestep out of the way of, say, the mid, you know, they're playing layers on layers. And you even have a little low. Now, you know, grappler logic. If they got hit by the low, that means they were standing, and that means you could have hit the grab instead. But, hey, the option is there. The Jaguar Sprint getting better with armor and all that kind of stuff and certain enhanced properties is great. But also, when you throw people, when you have heat mode on, every time you throw someone with one of your signature throws, you gain more heat. So say the Diamond Cutter and the Jaguar run. It kind of comes effectively infinitely self-sustaining if you keep hitting it over and over, because the meter you spin gets refilled. And a lot of your signature grabs, the more you do them, the more and more heat you get, right? So the more you throw people, the more you get to stay in heat. So you got to keep grabbing folk, and you're rewarded for it. Now, besides that, obviously, you know, some of the generic stuff, like you chip damage, all that. He also has absolutely one of the best heat smashes in the game. Like, look at the range here. See how far we are? I still connected. I still connected with a mid that does 64 damage from that far away. So, please believe me when I say this is one of the best heat smashes in the game when done raw, because it's like an ultimate whip punisher. Because you do anything like from far away, that's unfair almost. It's ridiculous. Also, if it happens to be blocked, it puts you directly into the Jaguar Sprint stance at pretty substantial frame advantage. So you can easily mix up the enemy here, just go for, you know, quick mid, or if you think they're going to be defensive, go for the throw, go for whatever, right? You are plus 12 directly in their face, which is a pretty good number to be plus by, right? So even on block, the reward is pretty substantial. So yeah, King in heat mode is a threat. Now let's talk buffering your grabs. This is a big part of the throw mix-up game. Tekken is, for the most part, very generous about its input buffer and what it lets you enter ahead of time. Some things it's weird and precious about, but thankfully that's not a concern for King. This is all upside for King. So let's say the giant swing. So forward, half circle forward, and your one button, right? So it's a 10 frame move, but you know, with the long elaborate motion, how do we get that out in 10 frames, right? Well, thankfully we can enter it ahead of time. Like say in the top 10 section, we mentioned forward 1+4, right? This is our big plus on block move, whether it hits or not, doesn't matter. So while this move is hitting, on hit or on block, I don't care, it's advantage, right? If I do giant swing, I can like literally pre-buffer the move while this is happening. Then I just hit punch at the end and boom, giant swing, right? And because it's advantage and, you know, at bare minimum +3 advantage, if you do any move that's not low profile, I'll always win. Even if you do your stand jab, the fastest move you can do, I'm +3, 10 frame move, pre-buffered, ready to go on the first possible frame, I'm always going to win. End of story. So this kind of technique is super critical for his pressure. And you can do this with anything, right? If I hit you with a basic stand 1 jab, it's +1 on block, better on hit. Like say the Tombstone Piledriver move, right? I can buffer that in while I'm jabbing. So I can enter the motion while the jab is on screen. Benefits you to be towards the end of the move, not the beginning. The buffer doesn't last forever, right? And now that it's buffered in, I'll simply hit my 2+4 to get the move off when the punch is over, and it'll come out. And even if I enter it just a little bit, once again, there's quite a bit of input leniency here. You're good to go. So you can basically pre-dial the grab or any move really, but for king, grabs is the deal, right? And go from there. Heck, giant swing once again here, big elaborate motion, right? Forward and 1 is not a move. It just gives you the jab. And if you do that, forward 1, this counts as the forward for the giant swing. So I can do this, then half circle forward after the fact. And then, once again here, just comes out first possible frame. Like Azucena is just doing stand jab. 10 frame move, fastest possible move, right? Oh, look, I won. Oh, I win again. Oh, I win again. Oh, I win again, right? Simple math. I'm +1, 10 frames. You can't beat me, right? My throw will hit you the frame before even your fastest possible attack will. And because it's a counter hit, that means it's now almost impossible to break. And when you start adding bigger numbers on hit or on block, it doesn't matter what it's going to be. My throws are going to keep on winning because I can pre-buffer them coming out on the first frame, and I'm going to beat whatever offense you have. So a big part of the offensive king is getting any kind of plus frames, even if it's as simple as just a jab. And from there, giant swing's always going to win against any other move that doesn't low profile. And if you get a couple more frames, then you can bust out some of the more advanced grabs and go from there. Now, one thing to note about buffering. You can buffer almost all your grabs, but things like, say, the Shining Wizard, it requires a run first, and you can't buffer a run. You, like, need the actual run to go off, right? So no matter, like, whatever plus frames you may have, if you try to, like, hit forward, 2+4, you're going to get, like, the basic suplex or something like that, right? You're not going to get it. Now, so if you need a 1+2 break like the Shining Wizard is, I highly suggest going for, like, say, the Muscle Buster, because that you can pre-buffer, right? Because it's just a regular throw. But anything that needs any special movement or, say, special steps, like, say, some of King's various chain grabs, that you can't pre-buffer. But everything else, you're good to go. Very important technique. Practice it, then use it, then abuse it. Now, let's talk chain grabs. They're very elaborate. One of the coolest things about King. They can go on for a very long time, and a lot of people don't fully understand or appreciate them. What are they? They're kind of effectively just elaborate guessing games with the throw break system. And with that, I feel the one chain grab set's much more valuable than the other. So we have two sets. We have down forward diagonal and 1+3, and down forward diagonal 2+4. And we also have a pair out of his beast step. So this is forward, down forward. It takes a little, like, kind of like Mishima crouch dash step here. And that is step 1+4 and step 2+3. Now the thing is, regardless, all four of these, they all share the exact same throw animation. Doesn't matter which one you're doing. They all look exactly the same. Therefore, the initial start is truly a guess. It's always going to be a 1 or a 2 break, right? But the enemy visually cannot possibly know. They simply have to guess. And once again, that's the nature of chain grabs. It's all just one big elaborate guessing game. So the difference here is the down forward 1+3 and down forward 2+4. The guessing game is much less elaborate. Every step along the way, the guess is basically just going to be a 1 or a 2 break. That's it. So it's a 50-50 every time, right? And the damage, I'm just doing the basic example right now, but the damage is kind of whatever. Like 63 is nothing to sneeze at, surely, but you know, with so many opportunities to break along the way, if the opponent just like mashes 1 or mashes 2 against these breaks, you know, they got kind of a 50-50 chance of breaking out, right? Because each separate grab gets its own break. Now, the thing is, all the moves here, I was mashing 2, they all have basically special power-ups. This is kind of the old school way. So mashing 2, mashing like one of the buttons to get all the chain grabs, that's kind of the new school way. If you want to go the old school way and press all the buttons manually, then you'll get more damage. So say we are here at the very first step of all things, right? And all I do is hit 2, and we get the second step. Okay, 27 damage. But it says here, if instead of pressing 2, I pressed 2, 2, 1+2. So let's see how this goes here. So I'm going to press it 2, 2, 1+2. And now instead of 27 damage, 35 damage. Okay, so things are ramping up here. Okay, so that got us a bit more damage. So 2, 2, 1+2. The next steps, though, here, you see things change up a little bit here. So now it's going to be 3+4 and 1 or 2. And once again, 1 or 2 will determine if it's a 1 break or a 2 break. And then 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 1 plus 2, and then 3, 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 1 plus 2 for the final bit. And now, if we do all these elaborate presses here, instead of just, you know, kind of mashing 1 or 2, we do enjoy a substantial damage bonus. And now we ended off at 60 some before, and well, obviously a lot more than 60, right? But this is all well and good. The ones you really should be aiming for are the ones off the step. Why? Because they're more complex. So everything here on the down forward 1 plus 3 or 2 plus 4 throws is always going to be a 1 or 2 break. The ones off the beast step are also, generally speaking, more damaging, but they have all 3 breaks. 1, 2, and 1 plus 2. And much the same for the other one here, right? 1, 2, and 1 plus 2. So the overall chain is shorter, but the ability for the opponent to break is simply much more difficult because they have 3 options to choose from instead of 2. Now, I guess the one point of difficulty over these compared to the other ones is there's no easy option. These ones, you have to enter the multiple inputs for every step of the way. There is no option just to hit 1 or 2 and get the easy mode with less damage. You have to memorize this, but, well, hey, this is fighting games. You're kind of going to be memorizing things. That's just kind of how it works. But if you do, then you can learn things like, say, the rolling death cradle. So 3 breaks to worry about here, right? Okay, let's try break number 1, as in the 1 break, right? The triple arm breaker. So 1 plus 1 plus 2. Okay, here we go. Okay, solid 50 damage. Not too bad, right? And once again, just even the initial thing, you got to guess, because all the grabs look exactly the same. And the beauty in this grab, it's almost like free damage. Why? Because the 2 and 1 plus 2 breaks are 10 times scarier, because they both have direct follow-ups. So Head Jammer has a follow-up, and Chicken Wing has a follow-up. So these are going to do exponentially more damage, so you can't afford to guess 1. Therefore, 1 is almost guaranteed. If you guess wrong on 2, 2's follow-up is guaranteed. And if you guess wrong on the 1 and 2 break, then you have to guess again between a 1 and a 2 break. So let's show you what happens here if you guess wrong on 2. Okay, you guess wrong on 2. Now 60 damage. So more than just the 1 break, right? Not a lot more, but 60 is a lot for a grab. Okay? And now, what happens if you dare not break 1 plus 2? So the 1 plus 2, Chicken Wing, is 2, 1, and 1 plus 3 together, right? And then it has 2 options here. So let's go with option number 1 here, throw break number 1 first, the Dragon Sleeper. So if you eat the Dragon Sleeper, 65, so even more damage yet. But you can't afford to break 1. If you guess wrong there, you have to take the damage. Why? Because Rolling Death Cradle's there. Let me show you what happens if you dare not break 2 at this point. Oh, didn't break 2? Okay, we did 60, then we did 65. What's happening here? Oh, it's still going. Oh, it's 100. It's 100 damage. So this is the weighted system. Basically, this is like the most terrifying end of things. And this is just, you know, the arm breaker, right? You know, we also have standing heel hold in this whole thing as well. And things get scary too. Let's put it that way, right? It's sort of the name of the game, right? If you do the right sequences, you know, I guess these days is Daniel Bryan most famous for this, although he's not the inventor, but that's still 85, right? Rolling Death Cradle a bit more. But yeah, so these chain grabs are very powerful. They're unseeable in that you got to guess the initial break, and then you got to keep guessing. But that's why the step ones are more valuable, because they have 3 break options instead of 2, and they're not as long, so less chances to break, and just more damage. So it's a good thing to implement in your game. It's not going to be something you're going to want to spam, but they're one of the scariest aspects of King, and it's a knowledge check. If the enemy doesn't know, if you accidentally hit the wrong button once, even if you meant to hit the 1 plus 2 break, if you accidentally hit 1 a frame before 1 plus 2, tough luck. You're screwed. Better use the button macros, buddy, right? So yeah, chain grabs, very important part of the character. Now, to quickly talk the Jaguar Step. So that is him doing basically a little Lindy hop here. So it's just 3 plus 4, right? And if you hit back, he'll go backwards. So he has options out of here. So like Jaguar Step 1 is effectively like down forward 2-1. It's just the basic hit by itself. And if it connects, it's a crumple. And if it's a crumple, you better believe combo time from there. We also have Hop 4, which is a big old hit. And importantly for it, if it's block, it's +8. And this is where I'll bring up the fact that you can hold hop to double hop. And if you double hop, moves like 1 get less disadvantage on block. And if you hold it, hop 4 becomes a true guard break, which means with 4-2-1, you get guaranteed damage and a guaranteed heat engager. And with all these highs, you have hop 2 to keep people honest. If they start crouching, it's a mid. And also, fun fact, literally guarantees crouch grabs for a pretty substantial damage. And he's got 3 different crouch grabs, so you can get a lot going off this. Once again, can't break a crouch grab, so pretty good, right? And there's a couple other things, but that's not the most important part here. The most important part is specifically the back hop, as this is best source of mobility. As we talked at the very beginning in weaknesses, his basic backdash is the worst in the game, basically. Doesn't matter if you do it fancy or like backdash cancel it or whatever. His movement's the worst, but his back Jaguar Step hop here gives him a lot of room to work with. So if you're looking to do something defensively to create space, a backdash into hop is a good way to do it. The initial backdash will keep you safe because you can block while backdashing in this game. And if you weren't already hit at that point and already stopped, then they're probably not going to hit you just yet. And then you can backdash to get that, or rather Jaguar Step to get that extra mobility. And as a whiff punish, things like that Step 4, because it's the same forward or backwards, or things like that Hop 2, if they work your way into you and you whiff the move, or rather they whiff the move and you hit with Hop 2, once again, guaranteed crouch grab, good stuff. Or Hop 3, which has a bit more range. Basically, it's a good way, backdash into back Jaguar Step is a good way to create space for a character that does not have many good ways to create space. Now that that's all said, lots of things about King, let's get into some combos. Everyone needs combos, even if you're going to win a lot of games off, say, a pretty chunky grab. Combos always help. So let's talk what can help you out and give you some bread and butter combos. And let's start with the hop kick, because that's going to be, generally speaking, most of the time, your primary launcher. So first, before anything, let me give you an idea of what a basic bread and butter combo off the hop kick looks like. So a solid 70 damage, very respectable. And if you get the perfect timing of the Shining Wizard, it becomes an air grab, right? So if you get the perfect timing, you get a few more points of damage. Now, the one point of contention, some people might struggle, is the jab at the end. And you know what? If that is an issue, just admit it. Like, don't stress yourself over it. If that's too hard, you only do a couple points less damage, right? It's not a big deal. 67 versus 70. So if you're going to drop a combo over the jab, it's not a stressor. So stand to or end or not, it's very reliable, very chunky damage. You're good to go. There is some other routes though to go. So let me show you an alternative route to the basic bread and butter combo. So as you can see here, 71 damage, just a little bit more. So that's pretty handy. Now the thing is, the combo's harder. It just is harder, right? The 4-3, you got to dash to get it, and you need multiple dashes, and it's very specific on the timing, and it's just hard, right? There's multiple points of failure in that combo. And you can also even get that jab, stand 2 into the run, by the way, but that's adding another layer of failure to it. And it's even harder than the first combo. So yeah, you get more damage, I guess. You know, a point more damage. But I'll leave it to you if it's worth it, because the combo is a lot more difficult. So that's our basic hop kick, right? Our basic launcher punishes a lot of things. What else about punishes? Well, let's go for our crouching punish. So it's a little different for King. Most characters, you block something big, that's a low, and then you do while standing 2. For King, it's a completely different move. And same deal here, while standing 1, also completely different move. His crouch punish is remain crouching, so full crouch, down forward 2. and that's a big old punch to the gut. Now it's 15 frames, so same as the hop kick, so 15 frames. So standard punish timing, standard big combo timing, right? Just the motion's a little different. But let me give you an example, bread and butter combo. So there we have it. Very respectable 70 damage ending on the grab ender again, right? So a few things about that combo that are uniquely King. So when we launched the enemy here and we did the tornado spin with the grab, we did the version that's forward 2+4. So King's the only character in the game that keeps the old hold forward to extend your grab range, and we actually need it for this combo to work. So that's actually very, very handy. Also, you might notice that little bit of a jitteriness, right, at the beginning of the combo. So that's me doing his B step, but this move is not a B step move because I'm putting myself in crouch with the B step. All this is doing is I'm naturally rising up. So I'm actually doing while rising 3, while standing 3. That's all it is. And for the purposes of this combo, while standing 3, just kind of rebounces them, rejuggles them in the air, which makes a lot of what this combo is go. And all said and done, mechanically, it's very easy combo, very respectable damage, good punish. What's not to like? Now, the next major combo to learn is one of the moves we talked about in our top 10 section here, down forward 2-1. So this is a natural counter hit combo, splats you on the side, and it's gonna be one of the trickier combos. Like, you're gonna want to learn it, and you're going to want to use it because it's a really good move. It's one of the cornerstone moves of the character. But first, I guess, let's switch characters just so I can talk about where it's easier. So, goodbye, Azucena. Hello, literally any male character in the game. So that's the first part of the combo before we get into it. Easy as pie against guys. Against the ladies, not so much. It's just going to whiff. So notice when we do the combo, I'm just going to do a mini dash first, because that'll give me the correct spacing to hit this against the lady characters, the thinner hitbox characters. Against guys, no big deal, just manual timing, go for it. But against smaller hitbox characters, like pretty much every female character in the game, you're going to have to do a mini dash in the section of the combo that you just saw. Now, here's the combo. And there we go, 76. We actually got the perfect version of the grab at the end, so a couple more points. But yeah, the damage is absolutely there. So the combo can be more difficult, including one section here, but the damage is absolutely there for just a really good check move, right? Just pressure, see if they want to hit buttons, very delayable, very staggerable. The immense reward for such a basic interaction. Now, the one part to mention besides the other part we mentioned. So for this, we're going to use our handy dandy record feature. Thank you for the record feature, Namco. Thank you very much. So at this point here, you may notice I'm approaching the enemy and then kind of walking around, right? We need this for the spacing because due to the weird angle, we cannot air grab the opponent. Like, we're just off axis, right? It's not going to work. So what we're doing here is we're dashing in real quick, and then we're specifically side walking into the camera here. Not doing a side step, because side step 2 is a completely different move. It's like a big old slap, right? And that's not what we need. Like, we can hit them, but we're not going to get all the damage. So side walking gives us 2 instead of the side step slap. So that's what we're trying to do. So once again, at this point, dash in, side walk. And when we're side walking, we hit 2, and now we're on the correct axis with the enemy. And then we can go for the air grab, right? That's tricky. Like, it's going to take you some practice. Just keep in mind, specifically side walk. So down, down, not just down and 2, because otherwise you won't get the right move. Practice it, try it out. And if for whatever reason, like, that part's too hard, like, just catch out and do something else. Like, 64 is not nothing, right? You can just do run 3+4 and still get very respectable damage if that part's too difficult for you. But yeah, so those are some basic bread and butter combos. The launchers and a very good counter hit starter. And what if we want to work our way to the wall? Well, basically do any B&B combo, and then just kind of do back 1-2 at the end, and it just will catapult people very far into the air, and if they're anywhere near a wall to be hit, it'll definitely do it. And once you get them on that wall splat, well then, kind of world's your oyster. King does have a wall grab, right? So easy guaranteed damage. You could go for back 4, which leaves him in the back turn state, and then you could say go for his various unblockables. He has the moonsault, he has the burning lariat, see which way they attack, and then just kind of go from there. His back turn unblockables are fairly quick for what they are, so it's a good way to gimmick people out. Or you can give him a quick tap and then go for a down back 1+3 or 2+4 break and just force them to guess. Since it's on the ground, the scaling is much more relaxed, right? Get a good chunk of extra damage. It all sort of depends how close are you to winning. If you're one hit away from the win, maybe, you know, that gimmicky unblockable, just let him roll, then go for the unblockable. Maybe that's the answer, right? Steal the round on the spot. But if you got a little bit more work to go, try something a bit more traditional. And keep in mind, just being against the wall in general makes a lot of moves just more deadly. If you can get any kind of wall splat, his forward 4 is a tornado. And you can do basically any wall splat, 4 wall throw for incredible damage. $81 damage, not bad for what says a 4-hit combo, I think you would agree. And that's King in a nutshell. So hopefully everything you saw in this video is enough to get you off the ground and understanding the character. As a wrestler, you know, he's all about the grabs. He's all about breaking other people's dreams, right? That's what grapplers do in fighting games, is they definitely break other people's dreams. So when Azucena's, you know, trying to finish the story, King says, "No, that doesn't work for me, brother," right? And cause a little frustration, maybe cause a few rage quits along the way. So King's a grab bag of some very competent normals and obviously some very devastating grabs. Once again, best throw game in the game. No one else comes close. Other people can have perfectly alright throw games, but if you're just looking to grab, King is absolutely the guy, and hopefully a lot of the techniques you've learned through the course of this video will help you on your King journey. So that said, that is it for the King Starter Guide. Hope you learned a thing or two, and now we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Tekken.